I was feeling out of alignment for a couple of years, right? I had gone through a divorce. So when we hit that 15-year mark, I was only 2 years into, my divorce transition. So I certainly wasn't going to rock anything financially when the brunt of taking care of things, was on me. And
Yeah.
so my former husband was home with the kids for the last 6 years. So I was the one paying maintenance and child support and
Yes.
alimony and so forth. So you have to look at the whole picture, right? When you're making some decisions about transition. And luckily for me, I knew it was going to be a planned transition, not an unplanned. Some people find themselves in unplanned transitions, right? But it was the first time in my life I had gotten to a point where things just, like I said, the universe was literally hitting me with two by fours. Okay. And I was like, the two by fours were seriously things that were happening that it was like, are you going to make your family a priority?
Mm.
And the time had come where I was going to decide that, but I didn't know how. And in all fairness to my amazing business partner of 17 and a half years at that point, I didn't feel like I wanted another divorce. And I felt like going to her and saying, look, I'm at a new stage. My kids need more. I need more of them. I want to work less and play more. I felt like I knew that we could. I knew that we could, but we also had a different mindset. And I just thought, is it really that I'm going to come to the table and be like, I want to work 9 to 3. I want to be at my kids' games, blah, 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 blah. And I was the one generating a lot of all of the exterior business from the business insurance perspective. So I knew that that would be a really hard conversation to have. And in all fairness, I had to step back and say, is that really what I want to do? Or is it really time? Because I had this vision for it being 15 years and I was now 2.5 years past that. What happened for me was I hired a life coach. I had never had a life coach. I had never had a personal trainer. Always had consultants, always had
Okay.
advisors. How am I going to grow? How am I going to make more? How am I going to excel? I never went deep with a life coach. Tons of therapy, right? But not a
Yeah,
life
of
coach.
course.
It was in that beautiful gift that I gave to myself and the questioning and the challenging that this beautiful soul, Deb Miller, did with me, her work with me, that showed me that I had a choice. It didn't have to be an and or, it could be an and or it could be an and or, but what did I truly desire? And it was scary, but I did the work to think about what the potential would be, not having any idea what would be next, not having a plan for what would be next, but knowing that there wasn't a nothing next. Like I wasn't going to just
Right.
simply sell and retire. I would
Right.
give myself time
To figure it
to
out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, like most people that I think that exit, I gave myself, people are like, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do? The people closest to me and in my inner circle professionally. And I said, oh, I'm going to take 12 weeks off. Like it felt like a lifetime. And when I hit the
I
11 week,
totally understand that. I
yeah,
totally
and I thought I'll figure it out in 12 weeks, right? I'll take a rest and I'll figure it out. And I got to the 11-week mark and I was really enjoying the pace and the space to just reflect and be. It was the first winter because I actually came out of it. I had my business partner and I had had conversation about me staying another year, and then we came to the conclusion that it would be harder for her in that transition. She's like, I'm just going to rip off the band-aid. So I actually exited 6 months earlier than what I would have intended. It was going to be like an 18-month, and obviously still involved in, for a 3-year period of time in some renewals and things, but it was the first winter where I watched the snowfall and I enjoyed it because in insurance, you don't enjoy snowfall, okay?
right.
Your employee,
Right.
22 people can't get to work. You're trying to figure out how you're
Right.
going to get the phones man. Claims are happening. And I thought, oh my God, the snow is so pretty. I hated the snow.
Oh, I love that. So
So,
your partner ended up buying you out. Your partner
yes,
bought you
he
out.
ended up buying me out. Yep.
Awesome. And
And we
her
were able
kids
to,
worked in the business, right? Her kids went on to
yeah.
work in the business.
Oh, they were had that at that point been with us for 15 years. So I thought the natural transition would be let's let the girls buy me out and you have a family business. And that was our initial plan. And then after sitting at, thinking we were going to shorten the timeline, she's like,
Yeah.
look, let's just figure it out between you and I, and then I'll figure it out, with the girls down the road. So yeah, it was beautiful, and it was so weird literally to like close out my year December 31st with a toast with my staff and walk out the door and the next day have literally nothing on my calendar. I was very involved in the community, president of the chamber, 5 nonprofit boards over the prior 3 years, and I literally had nothing on my calendar. And so it's a gift and a curse when you go from everything that you've built really is where your identity lies. And I realized in that first 12 weeks that the biggest gift that I could give myself is to figure out who am I outside of what I do.
Yeah.
And so my 12 weeks turned into a year. And I had those like freak out moments. Like at the 11-week mark, people were calling me going, "Oh, what are you going to do? Your 12 weeks is almost up." And I'm like, I have no idea. And I'll make it 12, 12 months. And at the 9-month mark, I started to panic. Like, I better figure it out. I only have 12 weeks left. And I started, really going deep into reflection about from an impact perspective. And I use the Course in Miracles. And one of my prayers every day was, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And with whom? And I just asked to be led.